Hey guys, so for some reason the beginning of my video disappeared and I don't know where it went. So I'm gonna redo the intro kind of thing really quick. This video is so you guys can learn how to make your first batch of kombucha. I've made videos on the past in this, but I feel like they were really confusing. So they weren't as clear and you might have gotten confused at certain things. So this is just breaking it down further, and I'll be making different videos for the second fermentation, for SCOBY Hotel, and for how to make your own SCOBY. So basically the first thing you're going to want to do is wash all your materials with vinegar and hot water. So I have my 2 containers I'll be using. I have a measuring cup I'll be making my tea in, and I'm also going to be using a chopstick to stir the sugar into the tea. So you're going to want to sanitize all that with hot water and vinegar. You're not going to want to use soap because soap is chemicals, and chemicals will kill the bacteria that is used in the kombucha process. The same goes with a plastic container. Do not get a plastic container because while it's fermenting, it's going to absorb some of the plastic in the container, and that can kill your SCOBY too over time. So try to get a glass container and wooden tools if you can. So what I'm doing is I'm taking 1/3 a cup of sugar and I'm putting it into my water, which right now is only 2 cups, but I'm going to be adding 3 more cups to the mixture after I put it in my bigger container, because I'm not using the 1 gallon method because I have smaller containers. My containers are 1.5 liters. So I'm using 5 cups of water to 1/3 of sugar and to 4 tea bags. But if you're doing the 1 gallon method, you're going to want to use 1 gallon of water, 1 cup of sugar, and however many tea bags or tea leaves you're going to need. It really depends on how much water you're using, so you can do the math. It can change tea to tea. I'm using black tea. You can also use green tea, but black tea is really I think the best. I think that's all I need to say. So now let's go back to my other footage I had. Just adding the water into my measuring cup, and I'm heating it up so that when I add the 1/3 cup of sugar, it combines well, and so there's not a bunch of particles of sugar left in the bottom. Now I'm just adding my tea bags to the water and the sugar that's already combined in there, and I'm just going to let it sit. The sweet tea is looking pretty dark now. You can see it's almost black. So I'm just going to go ahead and pour it into here, and then I'm going to add the water on top of it. And I'm just going to keep the tea bags in it for a little longer just in case there's some more in there that will get absorbed when I add more water. Flopping those in there, and then I'm going to pour. So here's 2 more cups. This water is more room temperature. So this is what it is looking like right now. It's still pretty dark. I'm still pretty happy with it. I'm just going to leave it there to cool. And while I'm waiting for that to cool, I'm just going to throw a clean towel over top of it. This is what you're going to use during the end of it too. You're going to take a towel and you're going to take an elastic, wrap the elastic over the edge of the container, and you're going to put it up on your fridge or your cupboards or whatever and leave it there to ferment after you add the SCOBY in. But you can't add the SCOBY in until it is cool, so I'm just going to throw this over so nothing gets into it while I'm waiting for it to cool. 2 hours later. I'm going to reach in and pull them out just so I can look at them. If there's any brown on them, like right there, that's not mold, it's not bad or anything, that's just yeast. So I can just rub that off with my hand, and then I can put it into the containers. Normally you'd just dump it into the new container, but I need to take off the yeast. So that's what the yeast looks like. Dark little things that are on top of the light, as you can see the difference there. So they're not bad. If there's too much yeast, then the small little tiny bit of alcohol in the kombucha will probably get a little bit higher. But kombucha is typically under 0.05. That's why it's not considered an alcoholic drink. It has less in it than non-alcoholic beer. So I wiped as much off as I can. Now I'm just going to plop that into one of them. I don't know why all my newer ones are thinner and then my first one I ever made is so thick. I have to do a little more research on that. So because my scobies are getting to be a lot, what you can do when you get a lot of scobies is you can give them to friends if they're interested in making kombucha, which I have 2 people I know that are interested, so I will probably give them some of my scobies. Or you can turn them into other things. I've seen some people make fruit leather out of scobies. They mix it with like berry juice or something and then they blend it up and put it on a dehydrator. They are in there like so. This one's the 3 ones, although there's an extra little thing hanging down there. But that's what it looks like now, and what I'm going to do is pour this half of it into one and half of it in the other. So sometimes the scobies will sink to the bottom. That's not a bad thing because normally they can push themselves back up to the top when they release their CO2 fermentation. So don't worry if they sink, it's not a bad thing. Anyway, I am done with making the first batch of kombucha. So what's going to happen is in 2 weeks the kombucha will be done. That is when you can actually call it kombucha. Right now it's only sweet tea. So in 2 weeks it will be kombucha, and then after that I can do the second fermentation process, which I will make another video on. So I will see you in that video, guys, and I hope this was really helpful and it clarified some things that the other video didn't. Let me know in the comments below if this made more sense to you and if this was helpful to you. So have a nice day, and I will see you guys later.